Friends, these are the backs of all three decks. And just as a reminder, this is the earliest one. This is Le Tarot Fantaisie Égyptien, officially considered to be from 1850, but again, Cartomancer believes it was possibly, very probably, possibly produced pre-1791. This is the one that is Le Grand Etteilla au Tarot Égyptien, which was believed to have been published between 1880 and 1890. And this is the more recent one, comparatively, published after 1890, which is the Lismon, Sumada's Lismon Etteilla. Okay, published after 1890. So that's the order, and this is what the backs of each one of these decks look like. And I tried to get these as beautifully, as nicely framed up for you for the for the beginning of the video. But if you're expecting these cards to stay all nice and prettily aligned, you're dreaming a very big dream, because the cardstock for all of these cards is wonderful for shuffling, but not wonderful for keeping stacked up like this. Now, they're fairly slippy cards. Now, they're wonderful shuffling cards. They're wonderful cardstock for use, but not for displaying beautifully in a perfect pile, if that makes sense. Let me just show you. I touched this one just a little bit and it just slides all the way, and then trying to get it lined back up is just like impossible for someone like me. So why do I have them back up? Well, the top card right now is card 1. If we flip the cards around so you see the faces first, you're going to start at the bottom of the deck, card number 78. And I want to go from card 1 to the bottom 78, if that makes sense. I want to go through what we would generally call the major arcana first, and then slip through the minor arcana. That makes the most sense, right? So this is the way we're going to go. And like I said, I have not high hopes that these decks are going to remain as neatly organized as they are right now. But let's start off with the first card, which is this one. And this is probably the one we're going to see the most differences in. Yeah. So again, this is the oldest deck, according to the Cartomancer. This is the more recent, and this is the most recent. Now, when I think of an Etteilla deck, the form that, these are the two that I mostly think of, frankly. The cloud for card 1, or the sun coming through the clouds. And this is the Etteilla card. Yeah. Okay, and you'll notice different titles a little bit here. Questionnant, Le Questionnant, and here we have Génie. Now, I hope you don't expect me to be speaking French for you and translating, because I am not a French speaker. But it looks here at the bottom we have wisdom, and the male querent, or the male consultant, is the subtitle for the upright version, and génie, I don't know what that means, would be the reversed meaning. Here, this is just a querent card here, and here we have Etteilla, the Etteilla card, droit, which I think means right, like the right of royalty. Here we have le chaos, and down at the bottom, reversed, we have le question, the querent. So be interested. I have not studied these decks yet. I am not an Etteilla reader yet. Just FYI. We're just looking through and looking at the images. So that's card number 1. And where am I did not think this out very carefully. Where am I going to put these cards? I'll put them right over here. Let's see if they are off camera. Let me just double check. Okay, can you see these? The cards that I pulled off? You can see the cards that I pulled off. Okay, so let's see, I'll do it this way. Here we go. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. So here we go. This is how we're going to roll. Card number 2. Right? This is glory, or faux fire. And here we have fire again. Yeah? So right. This droit here means upright. The bottom here says reversé, which means reversed, right? And you'll notice here we have the Taurus sign. We don't get any zodiacal information on this one. I didn't point that out here. Here we had Aries, right? In card number 1. Here, card number 1. And card number 1, there was no additional information about zodiac. But here we do have Aries in card number 1. And here we have Taurus for card number 2. We also have, and I love these kids, you notice the similarities, right? Yeah, basically the same idea, just differently drawn. We have a very sharp border here between the star and the what looks like it might be a plinth or a tower of some sort. Here, it looks like the star is there radiating into, as is part of the whole picture. Here it looks like there are two separate pictures, right? So there's something that's a little more attractive about this card here for me, because it looks like one unit, whereas these two look like two different distinct units inside of one card. Picture 1, picture 2, right? Okay, so just need to get these guys off. I'm going to need to use both hands to do this. For card 3, here we have water. At the bottom, or propos. Now, this would basically be the moon card, I believe, in a Tarot de Marseille or in a Smith-Waite kind of deck. Now we see the dogs, we see the moon up here. We have the similar idea with no towers in the oldest deck. But here we have upright fidelity. Here we have water. Here we have water. Interestingly, we have Gemini as the zodiacal attribution here. Look at that purple. We have purple here and blue here, which are very interesting changes of concept. We've got a red crustacean here. We've got do you see the crustacean here? It's kind of green, right? These two dogs look very similar, but the artwork on this card, or in this deck, I should say, looks clearer and cleaner in some ways than this one. Now, maybe it was more, maybe the printer spent more time in restoring this deck than this deck. I don't know. Perhaps I should know, but I don't know. But there is a charm to this deck that I had forgotten. When I first seen this deck, I thought, oh, I really don't know if I needed this deck. But now that I'm doing a side-by-side flip through with you, I'm seeing the charm of this. Okay, now this is the air card. Okay, when I said that this was the star card, actually this is probably the sun card, right? We go the sun, the moon, and then here with the star. That's the way it goes, yeah? If we are associating with other tarot decks, this looks much more like a star card. But it's, again, air here, and here we have peace. Up there, intelligence, probably diplomacy here at the top for the upright. And here we have Cancer as the attribution, the zodiacal attribution. We notice all of the planets are here around the star, right? We have Saturn, we have Mercury, we have Taurus, we have Venus, we have Jupiter, the moon. Okay, that's got to be the sun. Definitely that's got to be the sun. Maybe that's the star up there. Up there. Maybe. Don't know. Maybe it's up to us to make that determination, right? So, taking these off, here we go with the next card, which is, which would, I believe, be the World card in other tarot decks. And I shouldn't be spending too much trying to get these all lined up. But here we go. Yeah, we got the 4 creatures around the circle in the center. Now we got a woman standing between kind of, I don't know, kind of like they're like their pyramids, but they're also like their obelisks, right? Obelisk-like pyramids. She's holding a branch in all 3 of them. This image looks just a little bit more androgynous compared to these. We have one fully dressed woman here. We have a nude woman, well, practically nude. She's got a girdle of flowers here. And here she's got a girdle of, oh, and a cape. I'm sorry, I forgot the blue cape. She's got a girdle of something, maybe bay leaves, and a red cape here. Interesting. You'll notice the zodiacal signs in these 2 decks, right? We have Aquarius, Scorpio, Leo, and Taurus in both of them. But we also have the association of Leo with this card in this deck. And we have, and still the terre, earth, also voyage at the top, right? But in this deck, it's félicité, happiness, which is interesting. Now, how do we get from happiness to earth? And reverse, it's misère, félicité, happiness, sadness. And here we have voyage, earth, voyage, earth. Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so moving on to card number 6. We have what? We have night. And reverse, it's day. That's interesting, right? The upright is night, the reverse is day. This is card 6. Not exactly sure what this would be associated with for a standard tarot deck. Something I would need to think about. Here we have the association of Virgo with the night, interestingly. Night, yeah, reverse. And now on the side we also have les astres, the stars, maybe? Interesting. Do you notice these? We have Aries and Libra here, going around the sun. Nothing here. Beautiful image with the earth, the sun, and the moon all together. Not sure what to make of that one, but we're moving right along. Moving right along to card number 7. Beautiful images. Oh, look at that. Look at these sea creatures. Very interesting. Very different, right? We see a salmon, a snake, birds up in the sky. We got birds up in the sky for all of them. But I do not see a salmon here. What I see is maybe an alligator head and a snake. The snake is still here in all 3. We have some sea creatures, very odd looking sea creatures there in these 2 cards. The association in the center card is Libra. But yeah, very interesting. Yeah, this is a beautiful deck. The more I look at it, the happier I am that I asked to have this printed out for me. Of these 2, I think this is my favorite printing of the 2 versions of the post-death of Etteilla, what were the dates again? The 1880 to 1895-ish decks. I think this one is my favorite. Now, there are later printings, and there are very different versions of the Etteilla deck, which you probably already know. And frankly, I gotta say, if someone buys it for me and gives it to me, I will use it and I will be very happy. But I'm not going to go out of my way to buy that other version because this is the version that I like the best. These are the versions that I like the best. And if you have the other version, you probably know what I'm talking about. There's a very different feel to the later Etteilla decks. And I like these. I like these a lot. Okay, so here we go. We're done with 7, and we're going to move on to 8, where we have Virtue. Now here we have another querent card, but maybe a female querent card. Yeah, the querent and another Etteilla. Etteilla. For reverse, it's the female querent. Here we have the female querent on this card as well. But in reverse, it's douceur. And I don't know what douceur means. But it's interesting because this is a woman standing in a whirlwind, right? Here, this is a woman standing in what looks like a very magical circle. Now we've got a skull, we've got a cup, we've got a so we've got water, air. I suppose fire with the candles. Earth, I guess, could be this or the bones. Very interesting. We've got a snake in the circle, reminding us a little bit of like an Ouroboros, even though it isn't an Ouroboros. This looks like a very deliberate, magical circle, doesn't it? And a woman holding a magical wand. Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, moving on to card number 9. Here we go. Card number 9. We have what looks like justice to me. And it says justice. Wow, isn't that surprising? Do you see that? Justice, justice. And we have justice. Also peace in this card. Very similar, but also very different. Now the figures are looking in different directions in this set of cards and this card. Although the scales are in the left hand in all three. This looks like a sword. This looks like a kind of knife, doesn't it? Instead of a sword, which is interesting. Association here is Sagittarius. Oh, did I mention Virgo for the female querent card? There was Virgo here. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. But yeah. La justice, 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 justice. And also the law in reverse, la légiste. I think that's what it means, la légiste and justice. You can see the curtain behind her. Here we see, it could be a curtain at the top, maybe. It looks like bunting of some sort. And then the chair back is just immense on these two cards. Here, she's got a much more restrained chair, but a curtain behind her. A little bit more similar to the Justice card in Tarot de Marseille and in the Waite Smith decks as well, right? And here we go with card number 10. Gosh, I'm so excited. I want to learn the Etteilla system soon and very soon, but maybe you already know I'm focusing on the Thoth system right now. Here we go, Etteilla. So this is temperance, right? We got the two vessels here and here, but we don't have vessels here. That's a difference that surprises me. Instead, we've got an elephant. And it looks a little bit like there's armor on the elephant's trunk. The color of the face and the nose of the elephant are very different. Well, okay, so it's not armor. The body is generally off-white with black lines. The color is just above his head and back, right? I don't know what she's holding here. I can't really tell what that's supposed to be. Here, these two cards, we've got very temperance-like people, you know? We got the wings, we got the glowy thing on the head, although the positioning is different. We have, like I said, these cards like to dance. Interestingly, she's got one foot on a triangle, which would be now, these are probably alchemical things, right? So the the sphere is probably, triangle might be sulfur. The sphere would be, it's not coming to me. But I'll bet you these are alchemical indications here at the bottom. Here we have Capricorn. Very, very standard tarot-like images on these two. This one's very different. The lady standing with an elephant. Reversed, it's le prêtre. And I have no idea what that means. Le prêtre. I'm sorry. Here, I do know that santé is health, I believe. Health and sickness. So that's perhaps also where we get that idea of the temperance card being also the health card, the alchemy of healing as well. Maybe that's where we got this. Or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe that idea worked its way into the card here in the keywords. Here we go. Okay, so with temperance, and then we go with force, yes, strength. We got the lady, we got the lion, but they have a very different relation. Oh, hello. That's interesting. Now, wait a second. So, hold on a second. I've got 2 temperance cards. Oh, wait a sec. Okay, this is interesting. So, here, temperance, temperature. They're different words. So I guess I've got 2 possible, hopefully, I've got 2 possible cards for slot 10. One could be temperance and prêtre, le prêtre, or this could be temperature, which I think is temperature, and le prêtre. That's interesting. Not quite sure what to do with that. Okay, I'm getting rid of this card, and hopefully there will be a... Oh, there it is. Good. We got a strength card here. Whew! I was a little bit scared there for a moment that I was missing a card and had double... Okay, although it wasn't a double card. Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so, like I said, these cards like to dance. Yes, strength. Beautiful decks. Beautiful cards. We got the lady, we got the lion. She has a very different relationship here than she does in other tarot decks, right? That lion she's not... This definitely looks like they have a loving, friendly... Well, okay. The expression on this lion's face is not that happy. So, maybe in this card we can see that the woman is controlling the lion, maybe psychically or spiritually. She's more maybe with that big old club in her hand. But here, the lion looks like a very familiar lion, right? The lion looks like a pet to me. And it's force. A reverse, it's sovereign, the sovereign. You see the association here is with Aquarius, which is interesting. Oh, oftentimes, well, you know that weight associated force with Leo, because, well, there's a lion on the card, it must be Leo. And part of me thinks that's a little bit silly, but part of me thinks, okay, I can go with it. Now, but here we're associated with Aquarius. Love the dress. So maybe, like I said, maybe this deck is more forcefully restored than this deck. Because you can see here the face is very difficult to see, both of the lion and the lady. Here, it's much clearer. And the colors are much more vibrant, comparatively vibrant, right? But interesting that there's no club here on either of these cards. But here, that lady, she's got a big old club and she's going to make people do what she wants, right? Okay, and the curtain on the side is interesting. Here we get that bunting again at the top, just like we had the bunting in the Justice card. Right? Okay, moving on to card number 12, which would be Prudence. Right? In other decks, card 12 is the Hanged Man, practically my favorite card in the deck. But this is Prudence. And here we have the Caduceus, but the Caduceus, instead of ending in some kind of a magical top, here we have a Tau at the top, which is interesting. Oh, there's no Caduceus here. So there are differences. We've got snakes in these two. I don't see a snake in this one. This is very different. Instead, we have the mirror. And in traditional art, Prudence is often seen looking in a mirror, which seems kind of odd to me personally, but there you have it. Yeah, the mirror is a common image for Prudence, from what I've learned. Now we see the bush, we see the rock, we see her lifting up her skirt. Don't tread on me, being careful of not stepping on the snake. She doesn't look like she's scared of the snake. It looks like she just doesn't want to smush the little guy, to me. And the snake looks a little bit indifferent. Here, the snake looks like it's ready to fight. Which is interesting, because she's got 2 familiar snakes wrapped around her wand, right? In both of these. So why is this snake pissed off? Something for us to think about. discours. Maybe fear or I'm not sure. Here we have le peuple, and I don't know what that means for the reversed meaning. I'm sorry. Very interesting cards. Okay, going on to card number 13, which is death in other decks, but here we have the Lover. Looks like a lover card to me. Oh, marriage, I should say. But, you know, lover, marriage, same. I didn't mention, I'm such a bad person. We had here Pisces for prudence. Here, that was the last zodiacal attribution of the deck. Here we have, again, marriage, union, which is interesting because here, marriage and union are both for the upright. In reverse, we have concord, which I believe is concord, like, you know, good relations, but not marriage. Here we have marriage or union. Union would be reversed, marriage would be upright for this deck and this deck. And this is is this the high priest, Le Grand? Okay, let me see. I haven't been spending a lot of time on those side titles, have I? And that is my bad. I hope you've been looking at these. So maybe this is the Hierophant, or maybe this is the Lover. I'm not sure. I like this not banner, what do you call that? This laurel at the top. Flowers here, very hard to see here, but these look like laurel leaves, right? Love the clothes on these people. I love the looking like the interior of a cathedral here, and here, and here, I guess, yeah. Yeah, they're all three. Okay, card 13. Here we go with card 14, which would be temperance in other decks, but here we have the Devil. The Devil made me do it. Which is interesting because if we think of, okay, let's go back to this card. Do you see the similarity between card 13 and 14 here? And you'll also, oh, interesting, there's a 15 up here as well. And there's a 14 here. There wasn't that problem here, just a 12, but on 13 there was a 14 printed on the side. On 14 there's a 15 printed on the side. But, okay, so now I'm curious. What's on the 15 card? Oh, also there's a 16 printed on the 6. Okay, so never mind. Let's move right on. Move right ahead. But do you see what I'm seeing? Yeah? Central figure, central figure. Male, male, female, female. Now, it's a different kind of joining, right? This is a joining by force. This is a joining by choice. And it's interesting here, the male figure looks like the chain. Okay, let's move on to this. So in this deck and this deck, it's you're clearer to see than it is on this deck. But here, the males are chained at the neck. The females are not chained at the neck. I guess they're chained around their girdle, maybe? Around their waist? It's really hard to tell, but it's definitely not along the neck. You'll notice the difference in wings here. Definitely bat-looking wings. These are very stylized looking wings, and these almost look semi-bird or angelic-like wings to me. Major force, force majeure. Upright and reversed, it's the same. Force majeure. But here we have force mineure, which is interesting. I wonder why that is. We have no real reversed meaning for this card. For this one, we have major force, minor force. Here we have le diable. Le diable is here. Chagrin. Reversed, it would be bonheur. I don't know what that means. Okay, so I will need study, right? You knew that. You knew that before we really began this flip through, that I need to study these decks. Here we go with and this is a first step in studying. For me, Maybe for you too. Here we have maladie, sickness, but this kind of looks like the magician card to me. Yeah, we got the table with the tools, we got the wand and all four. Here we have melancholie, and reverse it would be imprévoyance. I don't know what that means. Here we have malady, both upright and reversed. Here we have maladie, both upright and reversed as well. And this says the magician or the batelier. Kind of a link between the TDM and the later what do we call them? The Order of the Golden Dawn titles for the magician, right? Which is interesting. Now, if I were to choose my favorite, this is interesting. Interesting especially because it looks like this figure is using a figurine of another human being to perform a magical act. Here, the two magicians seem to just be using tools, other representative tools on the table. Here, it almost looks a little bit like Western-style voodoo. Does that make sense? Do you see what I'm seeing? Very interesting. Okay, so moving on to card 16. Let's see if we have a 17 printed on 16 in this deck. Nope. Okay, so we've stopped the double numbers here in the center. And here we have judgment. Very, very judgment-like image, right? We got the angel above. We got people rising from the graves. Here in the later decks, it's maybe this one looks like this figure looks like it might be rising out of a grave, I guess. Hard to tell. Maybe that's a grave. These other figures seem to just be alive and praying. This figure is unclothed, so maybe this figure is coming out of a grave. Here we see a fleshed out figure coming out from a grave. Here we've got skeletons rising up. We've got a very, like a spirit, a wraith kind of rising up as well. Yes, we have trumpets. The angels have trumpets in all three decks, but this angel has a sword. This angel has 2 extra trumpets, and this angel has maybe 2 extra trumpets as well. Interesting that this angel has a twin flame sword is what I would call that, a twin flamed sword. And look at those wings, how they seem to be, the angel is moving this way and the wings are bent back in the opposite direction of her direction of movement, right? Very, very, like there's this really strong wind, or she's moving very quickly with great force. Here, these wings look they look like they're open very gently in these 2 decks, if that makes sense. This is a very interesting deck. Okay, the more I look at all 3 of them, the more I'm happy that I have this deck. I almost did not buy this one. And I was a little bit hesitant on this one, but I'm really glad that I have all 3. Those differences are very interesting to me. Very interesting. So here we have card 17, which looks like the death card, right? We got a skeleton, we got the scythe, we've got a raven up here. In Western culture, ravens are death birds, right? Death seems to be rising up from a graveyard here. It looks like we're back in Egypt here with these 2 decks, right? This looks like a pyramid. These look like pyramids here, I suppose here. Interesting, the vegetation down there at the bottom. Very interesting. Okay, and very interesting that this death card is holding a winged hourglass, right? Like the time, Father Time. Often, Father Time is the hermit, but this is clearly, to me, not the hermit. This is the death card. I might be wrong, but that's what I really get from that card. And it said more, I'm sorry, it says, I should have told you, mortality, right? So I think the reverse is birth. I think the reverse is birth. But check your source, check check on that. Don't believe me. There we go. Here's our hermit. Don't believe me right off the bat. Do some checking on your own. So we have the hermit, clearly, right? Got the hooded guy. We got the lantern clearly in the night. Well, clearly in the night. Well, clearly in the night. Or is it just a cloudy day? Is that the sun? Kind of looks like the sun. Which is interesting. I love this. This thing reminds me of, in Rome, the Pantheon. Not Pantheon? I think that's the name. The Pantheon in Rome, the round temple that was converted into a church in Rome, a Catholic church in Rome. These two guys look like they could be Capuchins. This guy, really hard to tell because it's yellow. No sun here, but we got this celestial planet or star or sun up here in these two cards. I don't know. Does that mean traitor? I don't know. Devil. This looks like, in reverse, it would be false devotion. Oh, it does. It says the Capuchin right here. But it also says traitor, I think. I'm probably wrong. I don't know. The hermit of the great Thebaid of Egypt. Don't ask me what that means. So, this looks like a very European image, but this deck definitely places this hermit from Egypt. Okay, so we're going here to card number 19, which is what? Which would be the tower, I believe. Card 19. Do we see? We got two towers, it looks like, and one of them is being blasted apart by a thunderbolt. The Temple of Lightning here on the side. Misery is the upright. Reversed is prison, I suppose. Maybe. Here it says catastrophe on the oldest deck. It looks like this is a temple, the funeral temple of Ramses II. Le Rémation. Okay, I don't know. Okay, I'm just reading what I'm able to read, and that's not enough, and I'm sorry. But we do see a lightning bolt breaking apart this bit of building here. We see a vague lightning bolt here and bricks coming off of this building here. Here the lightning bolt is very clear to see. Hard to see anything coming off of this structure, but it's been damaged, clearly. Okay, so that was 19. Here we go with number 20. Ooh, sorry. There we go. Oh, this looks like the wheel, right? The wheel. Big wheel on the left. Smaller wheels on the other two cards. But we still got a human going down, and here we got a mouse going up, it looks like. Human going down, a mouse-like creature going up, human going down. This looks more like a rabbit going up. We got a monkey at the top here, a monkey at the top with a sword here as well. I guess that's a monkey. So it's fortune. And in reverse, it's augmentation, I guess, maybe. Very thick wheel here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 what do we call them? Spokes. No spokes here, just a round thing, just looking very mystical, magical. Here we have another wheel with actual spokes and an axle here at the center. How many spokes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A little bit more of a magical number, I suppose. Now, instead of the monkey sitting on the top of the wheel, the monkey is above the wheel sitting on a branch, very removed in these two. Here, the monkey is actually on the wheel, which is something we're more used to. This would be a sphinx, but more used to in other decks like Tarot de Marseille or the Smith Waite. Very interesting. Interesting that we've got this blue sky above and then nothing here, right? Very interesting. Okay, so 21. Now I'm wondering what card 21 is going to be. The Chariot. Right? That's what it looks like to me. And it says the African despot here, but this really is the image of a chariot, right? Here we have a very Caesar-like image with a Roman scepter, a processional scepter probably, with horses on a chariot. Le Bustris Discord. It's the Discord card, which is interesting. Reversed, it's independence. Here, disunion is upright, and dissension is reverse. Here, upright, it's dissension. Reversed, it's arrogance. Very different, very, very different. A very Eastern-looking car here, more Northern European-looking, maybe post-Charlemagne-looking chariot here. To me, it looks like post-Charlemagne, and this very Roman Empire to me. Very interesting. Notice what he's holding in his hand. What is that? That's also interesting. And you see the moons on here at the back of the chariot. Very, very interesting. Okay, so here we go with 21 moves to 22, which is, okay, now I think we're going into the small cards. Yeah, this would be the King of Wands. Well, Kings of Wands, beautifully done. Homme bon et sévère, good guy and good and severe man. Here, man of campagne. Now maybe a war guy, a man of campaigns. Beautiful. But also, these two guys look very similar. This guy looks very different, doesn't he? Not only the direction of gaze, but also the style of clothes, the style of chair, crown as well. The scepter is very different. Very simple scepters in these two cards. Very more ornate scepter here, looking more like the wand of a king, right? The scepter of a king. Okay, here we go with the Queen. Right? Now it's interesting, the kings and queens do not face each other. They're both looking the same way. If that's meaningful for you. But the queens look at each other here because we got them laid out that way. Now, she's got a big old club in one hand and a very official looking scepter in the other. Here we've got scepters that look very much like the king's scepter. Woman of campaign. Good woman. And we have the knight. Knight on a horse with a very scary looking mace in his hand here in the oldest deck. Here, just a normal guy on a horse with a lance, right? Love the equipage, for this horse, you know, with the stirrup, the very realistic looking image. This one looks very sketchy, but, you know, fairly realistic, I guess. Not much detail. Here we've got more detail, but there's something a little bit more, I don't know, don't want to say cartoonish, but there's something more representational about this image to me. I'm not sure why or what that is, but okay, so that was the knight. And let's move on to the page. Let's see, page. Here we go. Old looking page, right? In this card. Interesting. Étranger, the stranger. The novice. This guy is holding a scroll. Looking like a messenger, right? The page, messenger, oftentimes. Here, not so much. But I love that sense of going out, beginning a journey of some sort here on these two cards. Here, this guy looks like he's arriving. And is older, right? Okay, so moving on to the small cards, the 10 of Wands, with a T down at the bottom. And except here, let's see, are these really 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Yep, that's 10 with a key at the bottom. Interesting. Trahison, I don't know what that means. Obstacle would be reversed. Looks like a nail here with a T at the top, creating a Tau. Here the Tau has a circle here, which I'm sure is something alchemical, but I don't know. But it's interesting that these two groupings of the 10 wands are very similar, whereas these very different. I kind of prefer this one, but yeah, okay, that was the 10. Here we go with the 9. Ooh, interesting, 3 groups of sets of 3. And at the bottom we got 3 nails, except for this. Here in the oldest deck, we've got what looks like, I don't know, these look like pages of a book, all separated. I don't know. Retard, slowness. Traverse, going across, crossing over. Here you order and traverse. Interesting. 3 nails. 3 nails. I wonder what that means. 3 nails, or Christ was nailed with 3 nails, right? One for each hand and one at the bottom for both feet. Okay, these images are very similar. Oh, nope, this one's different. Very interesting. So we got 5 nails or 5 spikes here and here for the 8 of wands. And here we got a hand with what looks like a playing card, which is interesting. Reversed, what do we have? Dispute intestinal dispute? That can't be. Campaign? I don't know. I don't speak French. So I'll leave that to you. But interesting. I do still prefer, I mean, if I had to choose one of these 3, if I could only have one of these 3 decks, probably this is the one that I would want. Probably. Of course, I haven't worked with any of these yet, but this is the grouping of images that is the most, I don't want to say familiar to me, but is the most comfortable for me, I guess. Here we have, what is this? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of wands. Another 3, but in different order, a different arrangement, 3 spikes. Here we've got what looks like, it looks like in the center there's a kind of a tower or a mausoleum, or I don't know what that is. I can't really tell what that's supposed to be. But it's something decorative and beautiful, but very different from these 2 guys, right? And yes, I did just call the decks guys. I hope that does not offend. Here we go with the 6 of wands. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Here we have a decorative face with a cornucopia off the side. And here we have 2 spikes. Domestic and a tent. Okay, I don't know. 6 of wands. Here you don't even have to count in this deck. The title is right here on the side. And here we go with the 5 of wands. 5 of wands, 2 spikes and a cross. Another decorative. I love these decorative items, elements at the bottom here. It's interesting. We got these arrow-like lightning bolts coming off. Or gold, I guess. The rest of it, I'm not going to even try. And we go on to the 4 of wands. And interesting, so one might want to think that, oh, so the spikes would increase or decrease over the course of like 10 going down to 1. But they don't, right? First there are 3, then there are 4, then there are 5, then there are 2, then we just had 2, here there are 4. 4 different spikes down there. This is something that we see in the United States. Our eagle carries these kinds of things, right? The arrows bound together by something. Here they're bound together by a star. Okay, so society. And the Three of Wands. And at the bottom, the three spikes create an A. And here we have a hand reaching out from the cloud, making me think of the divine hand coming out. And upright, it's enterprises. Reversed, it's... I'm not going to try that. No, I'm not even going to try saying it. Well, it's going to sound profane if I try to say that. So let's move right along to the Two of Wands. Okay. Card number 34, the Two of Wands. Ooh, look at that. We suddenly got a mountain here, right? A mountain in the background behind the Two Wands in these two cards. And here at the bottom, instead of the two spikes, we have what looks like a coach. The key word here, upright, is chagrin. Reversed, it's surprise. And yet the decorative item is, could be the Wells Fargo wagon for all I know. If that is meaningful to you. Yeah, the United States, we used to have a Wells Fargo wagon. And there's a song from the Music Man about that. Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is coming down the street. Oh, please let it be for me. Ace of Wands. I like that one. So it's interesting. We've lost that bottom bar section here in the oldest deck for the Ace of Wands. Very similar idea of a lot of standard tarot, you know, the hand coming out of nowhere, holding the single wand up in the middle of nowhere, right? Here we have a spike, one spike at the bottom, and here we've got another decorative element, and I can't quite make out what that is. It kind of looks like a hat, maybe, with a ribbon. I don't know what that is. And we have birth for reverse, and the upright is shoot, and I don't know what shoot means. But which is interesting because here it seems reversed, right? Upright it seems to be birth, reversed it seems to be shoot, whatever that is. But here reversed it's birth, and upright it's shoot. And yes, it does sound like I'm doing a childish curse. Oh, shoot. And here we have the King of Cups. Look at the huge cup on this guy's knee. The papal cross here. Whereas here, it looks like this guy is holding a snake, doesn't it? Very interesting crown. The crowns on all three are very different. This looks like a very papal kind of crown, right? Or a bishop's crown. Here, definitely not. Here, not so much either. I see a snake here. I just looks like a robe here. King of Cups. The blonde guy. Upright meaning is the blonde guy. Okay, so let's see what the Queen looks like. Queen of Cups is beautiful lady reading a book. The older decks have very similar, although we do see nipples. It looks like nipples here in the oldest deck. Don't see any nipples here. Love the yellow dress here. Now, we've got the covered cup, very common for Tarot de Marseille as well. Here, the cup is wide open and she's reading. No readers here. Upright here, it's I think maybe success. Here, the blonde woman. For some reason, I keep thinking Jane Eyre here. I don't know. It's just a little brain thing happening to me. Okay, Knight of Cups. Very Egyptian-looking knight to me. Less Egyptian. Much less Egyptian. The Prince Gouverneur de Memphis arrive. The Prince Governor of Memphis arrives, the Knight of Cups. Much older looking knight, much younger looking knights here. Almost page age to me. The key word for upright is arrive. Arrival, perhaps. Friponner, I don't know. I don't know. But I love the horses in this, in all of these actually. But this horse particularly stood out to me. It looks a little bit like an Italian deck in the way the artwork is done. Okay, moving on to, you can see the light is getting brighter because the clouds have moved away. Garçon, the Page of Cups. And it's interesting, we see in all three, just like in the Tarot de Marseille deck that many people comment about, the page's cloak is covering the cup in all three of these. Right? Look at the ribs on this. This guy's a hottie. Older looking than these two. These two look like very older boys, older children, but children. This looks like a very adult male, which is interesting. And it's interesting that it looks like in these two decks, the page is maybe in the entranceway to a building, but holding the cup out so that it's more outside of the building than in, if that makes sense. I don't get that feeling here. The blonde boy. The blonde boy. Okay, so 10 of Cups, 10 of Cups, 10 of Cups. So this deck, after we've lost that bottom decorative element here. Here we have the bottom, but there's nothing in it. Here we've got what looks like a bowl, maybe inside of a disc, a frame, a picture frame. La vie, the way, la vie, I'm not sure. Okay, so like I said, moving right along. I did not say that, but I am saying it now. So the 9, again, an empty box at the bottom for the center, and here we have some more decoration. So again, now I'm thinking I like this deck a little bit more because we got more decorative items in here. Whereas here we've just got these empty yellow boxes for the central deck. Although I do love the way that the color of the cups here. The green kind of aged brass kind of look to it. It's very interesting. Okay, so tom 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 tom. Getting them back in order, and here we have the 8 of Cups. Read the cup. Satisfaction is reversed. Here we have a blonde sun, I think, which is interesting. Not sure how useful that is for a reading for the general populace. I need to think of other things around that. Okay, so that was the 9 of Cups. And here we go with the 8 of Cups, very plain. Beautiful cups, nothing in the box. And here we have more decoration in the box. Oops, sorry. The 7 of Cups, 7 of Cups, 7 of Cups. Here we have a kind of cornucopia in a circular frame. Are all of the frames in the cups circular? Yes, they are. Yes, all these decorative frames so far in the cups have been circular. Kind of like the circular, like a cup. You're looking inside of the cup. Maybe. So that was the 9. Here we go. I'm sorry, that was the 7. Here we go with the 6. The 6. Different, slightly different arrangement here. Now, 2 in a line, just like in Tarot de Marseille. 2 lines of 3. 2 lines of 3. Here, the central 2 are kind of brought together in the center, which is a little different. Here we have a ship inside of the circular frame. Le passé, the passage, I guess. I guess. And here we have the 5 of Cups. 5 of Cups. 5 of Cups. In the frame, we've got what looks like 2 fish with entwined bodies, reminding me a little bit of Pisces, but this is not a Pisces association. Interesting. Can you see the 2 fish? Like, this is a head here, this is a head here. These are the bodies that are bound together. Yeah, anyways, that's what I see. That is what I see. So that was card number 45. So this is 46, the 4 of Cups. Let's see, what do we have in the circle here? we've got what looks like a young person playing a lyre. And it looks like there's a lute here on the side as well. Here again, we got the box, but there's nothing in the box. And yet, I think I still like this one better than this one. I think, at least at this point, I still like that one better. Not saying I dislike this one, but I like this one better. And then for the cup suit, there's something about these additional bits down here, decorative additions, that I also find very attractive. Even though the colors, I like the colors of this deck more. I like this addition of decorative element. And it might end up being meaningful in reading, right? Three of Cups. Okay, I'm having a little bit of trouble sitting here on the floor, just saying. My back is starting to feel uncomfortable. So here we go with it. Oh, look at that. And that's similar images carried over, and this one's very different. No, it's similar. Okay, so we've got a vessel with two snakes going up a little bit like a Caduceus with a flame, 2 cups on the side. Same thing, 2 cups on the side, but this is in front of the ocean. This and this are similar, but the coloration is different. And here at the bottom, we have what looks like a rose maybe inside of a circular frame, a circular frame. Notice the plant growing here, rocks, wavy ocean. More. This is love. And we do get a similar kind of thing with the Two of Cups in Tarot de Marseille, don't we? Although this, instead of being like the dragon heads or the fish heads at the top of a vase, we have a vase with snakes entwined and a flame at the top. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Très amusant. I don't know where the heck that came from, but there it is. Très amusant. And here we have the table for the Ace of Cups. Blank bit down here. And here, what the heck is that? It looks like 2 cornucopia again inside of a round frame. Interesting that we've got this blue background, but it's not down there. The quality of this kind of aqua teal color is interesting too. I like that with the red sleeve. Whereas this sleeve is very pink, very muted colors in this deck, right? Much bolder colors in the central deck. And this one, beautiful. And yet I think I prefer this one. Which one do you prefer so far? Let me know in the comments below. King of Swords. King of Swords. Very different looking kings. Yeah, facing different directions, certainly. Different kinds of crowns, certainly. These are very similar. Colors are more intense. Colors are more subtle. But this guy looks definitely more like he's attempting to be Egyptian, even though I don't think he really is Egyptian. Still, we got that flavor being added. I love the curvature of this sword. These swords are pretty basic, if you ask me. But the armor, the chest armor here is lovely. Yellow armor, okay, so-so. Homme de robe, the king of, the man of robes? I don't know. Love I guess this would be a falcon with, on the shield, maybe, I don't know. Okay, so, that was the King of Swords. Here's the Queen. My favorite Queen of decks, of all decks, is the Queen of Swords. And she looks kind of goofy, if you ask me. This lady here, her face, her expression, the way she's drawn, she looks like a very odd, very old Sunday comics from like the 30s or the 40s, maybe. This queen looks a lot more masculine, frankly, but intense. This queen looks very feminine, very intense, very powerful. There's a very masculine quality to this woman's face. Not so much here, but very intense. Looks like she's got Medusa on her shield, and she's got a war axe. Oh my God, watch out for that lady. I like the purple underdress here, underskirt, with this cloak, very imperial looking queen, right? And I'm sorry, she just looks kind of goofy to me. Okay, so I won't go on about how goofy she looks to me. And let's move on to the Knight of Swords. Look at him. Bold. They're all moving in the same direction. That's interesting. Look at that. You can see his knee through under his skirt. It's a little sexy. Okay, so as far as sexy goes, this guy's much more sexy. Yeah, the pages and knights in this deck are much more attractive in the physical sense to me. However, the art in this deck is beautiful. It's just gorgeous. And it's interesting that this deck looks fresher in some ways in many of the cards. And yet it is, according to the Cartomancer, the oldest. Interesting. Militaire. Ignorance. Ignorance would be the reversed, and military is the upright, I think. Oh, the detail in this knight is just phenomenal. Okay, so here we go. To the page. How old is our page? Older page in this deck. Even here, the page is a little bit older than, for example, the cups. Although the face on this guy is a little odd. Very nicely drawn. The line work is beautiful in this deck. Colors are gorgeous. Here, the face is a little bit difficult to see, to me. But notice the shadow here. I love this shadow here. This shadow looks a little odd. What is this? Is this a shadow of the person, or is it a shadow of this pillar? Is it the light coming through the hole? Here it definitely looks like the light's coming this way. This is the page's shadow. Here it looks like maybe the sunlight's coming in this way, but there's light coming in this way, and I don't know, it's difficult to tell. Oh, yes, we do have a shadow here. Now we do have a shadow coming off the legs of this page. And we've got the snake on the shield, just gorgeous. Look at that headdress. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Here we have the hilt of the sheath of the sword. Okay, the page. Here we have the Ten of Swords. Very different arrangements. All three have oh, look at that guy's head. Okay, so very different arrangements. 5 sets of 2 crosses. Afflictions is upright. Success, passager, I'm not sure. So I'm not going to try to translate those. But notice, so we've got the swords here arranged very much like the wands were arranged. Here the swords are arranged very differently. Here the swords are arranged similar to the wands, and it's in this deck as well. Does that make sense? Nothing in the box here. We got this guy's head. Might be people in the lower box for this deck. Let's see if that holds true. Am I making an accurate... Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Okay. Yep, I think I've made an accurate prediction. Another guy's face down here for this 9 of swords. 3 swords flying up into the air. Here, we've got a very interesting arrangement, right? Down, up, pointing down. The central are all pointing up. Conscience is the upright meaning here. Ecclesiastic. I don't know. Okay, like I said, I'm not going to try and translate this because I don't speak French. Je ne le parle pas le français. Okay, here we have the 8 of... Okay, 4 sets of 2 crossed swords. 6, 7, 8 swords flying up into the sky. 8 swords arranged very similar to the 9 and the 10. Guy's head, I have no idea who he is, but we got a guy's head down there. I wonder if there's information about who these people are, because they look like they're very specific people to me. And here we have the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of swords. 7 of swords. 7 of swords. Another guy's head. I'd love to know who these people are. I like these swords here just as far as the design of the sword. Now these swords are these swords would be my second choice. These are my third. This swords here, these small swords, are very basic. These hilts are interesting. The points are interesting. Okay. So here, that was the 7. Here, this would be the 6. Ooh, interesting. We've got a cross there in the center. And another guy's head. Route. Declaration. Declaration? Road? Path, maybe? I don't know. Interesting. 6. Oh, no, okay, so the 6 of swords, root. So when we think of the Smith-Waite meanings, right, the 6 of swords is the one where we think of passage, yeah? Transition from one place to another, moving to calmer waters. And if this is root, like a path, a passage, that could be a little bit, an echo at least, of the meanings that many of us would be more familiar with. Okay, here we have the 5 of swords. 5 and 5. This guy's got a face on his helmet, which is interesting. Yep. Okay, so not much to say about the 5. Let's move on to the 4. What does the 4 have to say for us? Whoops, okay, I've got to sit back up in my appropriate position. Okay, 4 of swords. Here we go, here we go. 4 of swords, 4 upright. Very simple. The sword suit is very simple to me, especially here. A little less simple here. And these faces are just so intriguing to me. 4. Here, whoa, sorry, the card just went dancing out of my hand. 3, 3, 3. Another very different looking face at the bottom. Éloignement. I don't know what éloignement means, nor do I know what égarement. I don't know. But that's the 3 of swords. Separation. Séparation. I know that. Separation. You probably know that too. 2 of swords. Lovely. Oh, nice. And we've got the tax stamp here. And we've got a tax stamp here. No tax stamp here. But here in the box, we've got crossed swords here with cloudy sky, with the light below, and we've got a landscape, and we've got a tax stamp down there at the bottom. And it's interesting. Okay, look at that tax stamp, and look at this tax stamp upright. Very, very similar, right? Almost exactly the same except for the color. Which is interesting too. Let's get this back upright. Similar, cloudy sky, landscape, crossed swords flying in the air. We got a guy's head down here. But here, so we couldn't put the tax stamp here, we had to put it here. Here we got this blank area, perfect for a stamp. And maybe that area down there was left that way for the stamp. Maybe, I don't know. And the ace, yep. Hand coming out of nowhere, holding a sword. But here we got another figure, and it looks like this guy's crying a little bit, doesn't it? Does that look like tears or does it look like a scar on his face? I don't know. It looks like a tear coming out of his eye. Okay, last suit would be what? Which one have we left out so far? The coins, right? The king of coins. This guy doesn't look very healthy to me because of his posture. No, this guy looks okay. This guy just looks a little bit weird to me. Love the detail on this coin. Love the chair. Oh, look at that chair and the robes and this crown and scepter. Just gorgeous. The purples. See the hieroglyphics on the seat here. Very Western looking, northern, or I should say European looking images to me. We got bunting up here at the top. But actually, instead of bunting, it looks to me like there's this cloth from the bottom being held up here, 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 and here, rather than this coming down. It looks to me like there's this white cloth on a dark wall. Do you see what I mean? Here I don't get that. Here it looks like this is bunting at the top. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. How do you see that? Queen of Coins. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. So the coins royals seem like they're getting ready to stand up, don't they? Looks like, just like the king, she looks like she's ready to stand up. So does she. But she looks more natural. There's something odd about her posture and the shape of her body that is, like the king, makes me think of that there's something wrong with her. You know? Beautiful. Beautiful queen here. Love the coin, love the scepter, love her clothes. Love the wall, what do we call that? The cloth hanging down and up and over her, protecting her a little bit. Okay, that was the queen. So the next would be the knight of coins. Older looking guy in this deck. Each holding their coin with their horse. These horses look like they're they have more energy than this horse does, frankly. And we often think of the knight of coins being the slowest of the knights, right? But these horses look like they've got a lot of energy, don't they? Let's see, utilité, utility, useful things. Inaction maybe would be reversed, maybe. Again, love the cloak on the horse, love the headdress, love everything about this knight. This knight's actually, compared to the rest of the deck, is a little difficult to see, is a little fuzzy to me. And this knight, again, the the coins suit of this deck, the royals, the people in the small, the page, the knight, the king, the queen. Yeah, we haven't seen the page yet, but the knight, king, and queen just look odd to me in this deck. The drawing looks odd. And, oh, look at that page. Okay. Okay, so nice legs. Nice upper body too. Holding a coin to protect his abdomen, so we can't see that clearly. Kind of a mean look on his face. These two young pages look very sweet. Like they're about to enter into the world, right? All of the pages in these two decks look like they're about to walk out of that door and maybe, well, not all of them look like they're about to walk out the door. At least one of them looked like he was gonna stay. Let me see if I can show you what I mean. Let me see, this guy. Well, I guess, let's see, maybe it wasn't that guy. Let me find another page. Okay, no, it was that guy. Yeah, I don't know. This page looks like he's ready to go that way to me. This page looks like he's pretty planted there. You know what I mean? This page doesn't look like he's moving. He might be protecting the door from letting anybody come in. This page looks like he's about to get ready to turn and go out the door. If that makes sense to you. Okay, so here we go. The pages of coins. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. A little mean looking, but gorgeous. Okay, so 10 of coins. Look, notice each one of the pictures is different here. The other two decks, not so much. But here, we've got a towel, we've got a snake, we've got a lyre, we got a cup, we got another snake in a different form, we got other things. Very different images in each one of the discs here. But instead, we've got something back in the yellow box at the bottom. Here we've got a figure inside of a disc. But here we've got a compass charting out the sky. This is the house. It's interesting. Okay. And again, different stuff in the 9 coins there. So we had, okay, so we had X, which could be Earth, I suppose, seeing as this is Leo for these 9 in the 9 of coins. Here we got a lady in a circle. But I just want to pull this back out here. Yeah? Notice we had a towel here. There's no towel there. We had a lamp here. There's no lamp here. The diversity of these coins in this deck is interesting. I like that. And here we've got the moon on its course. So there, oh, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, no. So, okay, so wait a second. I'm not sure. Is this supposed to be Leo or is it not? Let's look at the next one. No, that's Leo. I don't know. This is interesting. Okay, so this is odd. I think this is upright. But you'll notice these are in different directions. And also the moons are in different directions, right? Here we have the dot below the moon. Here we've got the dot above the moon. They've switched places. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, we'll get to this in a moment. We're looking at the 9s right now. Interesting. Okay, so let's move on to the 8s, which you just got a preview of. Here we have an 8s. With a different lady in a different position at the bottom of this deck. I wonder if these are supposed to be the muses. I'll bet you that these are the muses. I'll just bet you. Okay, so that is the 8. Let's see. 7 of coins. 7 of coins. And here we've got what looks like maybe Saturn, maybe here. You got, I'll bet you that's a muse. And I'd have to lay them all out and try and match them, but I'll bet you that that's a muse. Okay, I can't sit like this because I can only use one of my hands. Okay, I'm sorry, my back is a little bit uncomfortable right now. Okay, no, I gotta sit the way I have to sit to be able to move these cards around. Here we go, okay, so. Yes, I'm sure of it now. I'm sure that these are muses. This might be Jupiter. Oh yeah, okay, bah. I'm such a slow bit puppy. Okay, so, Saturn. Jupiter. I was just looking at the picture of, that looks like Jupiter. I didn't even look at the coins up above. Of course it's Jupiter. Silly boy. Okay, so that's Jupiter. So what would be next? Saturn, Jupiter should be... What is next? You tell me. Yep, it's Mars. And yet another muse, I'm sure. An amusing muse. These coins, as they've gotten larger, we started to get printing around here, right? I can't read it, but there's printing on the coins as well as the image. Okay, so what's after Mars? It should be probably what? The moon. The moon. And I'll bet you this is supposed to be Diana. I'll bet you. I can't really tell, but I'll bet you. Diana Artemis. No, I bet you it's a muse. An amusing figure at the bottom. That was the 4. So 3, who would be the 3? It should be Venus. Yes, Venus. And another muse. 3 coins. Kind of plinth. Interesting. Venus. The next one would be my favorite of the planetary gods. Even though I don't have much here, Mercury. Oh, look at that. So we got here the decorative tops, yeah? We got Mercury in both of these. Now, we didn't have any other planetary symbols here, but we do have Mercury here. You notice the flames and what looks like a mountain path, like maybe that's the burning bush gone crazy from Moses, the Moses story. Maybe. I don't know. But you know, okay, so this flame is flowing, isn't it? Down the mountain path. Interesting. So that was 2. So this should be the ace of coins, looking like Fortuna here, holding a disc, treading on a moving disc, I suppose. A cornucopia with full of coins. This is probably the Sun and Apollo. And it's interesting, I don't really see a coin in the Ace of Coins, although it says the Ace de Denier. I don't see a coin here, which is interesting, right? I mean, we figure this is the coin and also the Sun, I guess is Apollo, but I don't see a coin here. This one you really got to read the side. The As de Denier. Perfect contentment. Reversed, it's Boruse de Argent. I don't know. The coin of fortune. Interesting. I think that's what that says. Now, ladies and gentlemen, have you been missing a card? Have you been wondering, but wait a second, where is the, okay, we got to the ace, there's one more card left. What is that card going to be? Do you already know? If you know, you're smarter than I. Let me make sure that these are still on camera. God, I hope the whole thing was still on camera with these cards slipping around. Yes, they are. Okay, ready for the big reveal? We have the Fool. The Fool. I pity the Fool. Card 78 in the Etteilla decks is the Fool, the last card. Not of the majors, but of the entire deck is the Fool. And it's interesting. Look at how this Fool looks very modernly drawn to me, but how active this Fool looks, yeah? Really in a very natural walking kind of pose, looking at his own image on one stick as he holds the other stick with his belongings. He's got a bell to let everybody know that he's coming. He's got shells attached to him. He's got a very interesting headdress. And this leopard has leapt into the air and chomped on his calf. Here, these two guys, they just look like a normal, average, old guy wandering through the woods, holding one package, a small pack of something with a walking stick. He's got a very friendly-looking leopard or some creature walking with him. But this is just very, very active, aggressive, powerful. This looks a little bit, how we say, bucolic, right? So that's the end of the deck. There we are, card 78. What do you think? Which of these is interesting to you? Is there one of these that makes you think, I really want that? Do you have any of these decks? Let me know in the comments below. Yeah, again, these are by the Cartomancer at Bigcartel. I'll have a link to the Cartomancer's shop in the description box below. Thank you for being here. If you are still here, please, I didn't mention this. Yeah, it's card number 78, but you'll notice the 0 here. That's interesting. I just noticed that. There's no 0 in the other two cards, but there is a 0 right up here. And down here for reverse. So, if you are still here, hit that thumbs up button. I'm very grateful for your doing that. And I'm grateful for you for subscribing if you have not subscribed yet, and hitting the alarm bell so you do get notifications of when I upload videos. And if you want a private reading from me, my email address is below. thehangedmaninthemoon@gmail.com. Shoot me an email, we'll get you a reading. So friends, thank you very much for coming along this journey. The same person who requested this asked for a walkthrough of the Papist deck that I have. And let's see, I think I have it here on the side. No, it's not here. Well, anyways, I've got here. ask for a walkthrough of this deck, which if I get to it, it won't be for another couple of weeks, I don't think. But I also have a Pappas deck that I really know even less than I know less about this deck than I know about this deck. So I'm just saying. But here we go. My three Etteilla decks. Thank you. And now, as always, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness. Thank you.